We're alive.
Yes.
We live. We have survived Concrete.
Ah, fucking Concrete.
Somewhat.
Yeah.
Most of us have.
Yeah, I still have Concrete. I'm not happy that I still have Concrete. Because it's coming out on, like, all the recordings because I've got, like, a gravel voice.
That is making you very irritable.
It is, because I'm not, like, it fucking sucks. Oh, for fuck's sakes. But yeah, no, got Concrete from Fernal. Sad panda.
You're not the only one. Echo did too.
Well,
Sad.
it didn't help we were making out. Kidding.
Poor bunny.
No. But yes, I
I had a great time at Fernal.
I'm glad you did.
I really did too. That one, the last one, this one was probably the best Fernal I've been to.
Oh, really?
I think so.
Nice.
It was better than last year for me, but
I know, you didn't want to go in the first place.
I didn't want to go in the first place because I didn't have fun the first year that I went. And additionally, even this year, I went to one panel that I was actually paying attention
Yeah,
to.
I actually didn't go to very many panels. I was mostly on the floor.
I know.
Because of BrantFurred stuff.
But that was the thing, is like the reason I had fun was because we invited a bunch of people to BrantFurred, and hanging out with them was the fun time, not actually attending Fernal.
Well, the thing is, it's still attending Fernal because we wouldn't have a chance to see these people otherwise.
Oh yeah,
I totally think that counts as attending Fernal.
Not only that, karaoke. Karaoke was fun.
Karaoke was fun.
I went to karaoke twice.
I did not go.
I only
it
went
was happening
once.
way too late for me. I would kind of wanted to go to Werewolf, but again it was kind of late.
What is it that you want?
The one that no, not that one. Thank you. Sprint sucks. But yes, no, that was kind of like I didn't really attend anything. Nothing really appealed to me. I mean,
The problem that I have with Fernal, and this is just my own personal thing, is they release the con book, or they release like with the panels, the programming before the convention, with all the dates and times and whatever, like what's gonna be when, but they don't give any write-ups on what things actually are.
Yeah, I was
So
wondering what.
it's
I had
really-
no idea what Werewolf was.
It's
But then
really
then I realized that I had played it before.
yeah.
But it's really, really difficult to actually go through and plan, oh, is this something I actually want to go to, or is it something that I'm not that interested in just because it has a fancy name?
Yeah.
Or vice versa, oh, that doesn't sound too interesting, but when you actually read the thing, it's like, oh, I totally want to go to that. So that's the one thing that...
Like Fart Facts 101?
Apparently, Clace really wanted to go to that, and he didn't get a chance to.
Aw.
But anyway...
Next year, Clace.
So that's the one thing that kind of irks me about how Fernal does it, where it's like, okay, you release the schedule. I'd like to know some information on what these things are before I just blindly... Because so many people do that thing where they kind of block off their days and be like, I want to go to this, and this.
I know, actually, I had so many extra waffles at the tea social because I was talking with people and they were like, well, what do I want to go to that for? I don't drink tea.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, there's two things wrong with that. A, it's called the tea social because there's a social aspect of it. You get to go and meet people. B, it's not just tea. There were lots of snacks and I brought waffles.
Actually, what I was kind of like, from last year, the tea social, they had like hot chocolate and coffee and tea.
Yeah.
This year, they seemed to only have tea, no chocolate, hot chocolate or coffee, and they didn't have any sugar.
Yeah, it actually was a little weird there.
There was no sugar! Who drinks tea? Well, I'm sure there's a lot of people who drink tea without sugar, but come on!
Actually,
Thing is, they have people say that they're going to bring stuff and then bail. Mm-hmm. So that could have been the sugar guy.
The
Maybe.
sugar guy.
Yeah.
Actually, that was another thing that came up.
Give me some sugar.
Just concerning people kind of being like, oh, I don't know what to do and whatnot. The Dakota rings for super sponsors. And that being like a huge thing on its own. Like, oh, hey, if you have those, meet at this point.
Yeah.
That was nowhere in the material. The only way you could know about that was to actually attend opening. So any super sponsors that were arriving later or anything like that weren't privy to that information. So they spent all this extra money to get something that Fernal put the effort to actually make interesting. And half of the people, from what I understand, could not attend because they didn't know it existed.
Aw, damn, that sucks.
Like, and that would just, like, it would have been as easy as putting that in the comic book somewhere. And I get, you know, you only want super sponsors to show up. But if they're in even registration line while opening is going on, they're screwed. They can't take part in what they've paid for.
Yeah. Well, that's what happened, because Summer Dance came up to me just as opening was about to start, and she was like, yeah, my other half is actually still in the registration line. We were in it for like an hour. I didn't think I was going to make it to opening. So it's like, that totally checks out, where if you can't attend opening, or say the room was full, because it wasn't like a huge room, it's probably the biggest room that they have, but it's not an enormous room.
Yeah, no, it's not.
So even if the room was full and you couldn't make it in, you know, it's one of those things where, again...
I was lucky. I was actually one of the first people in.
Yeah.
I got my choice of seating.
Yeah, we got there, like, right before the line started. But the other thing, too, is, like, even at the reg line, they could have said, like, oh, you're a super sponsor? There's a thing with your decoder ring, like, at the reg section.
Yeah, like, okay, here, there's this thing at this time if you want to go and attend.
Yeah.
But, yeah, nothing there at
Although
all.
I gotta say, it's a good thing that they're at least trying to do something with the theme and the super sponsors.
Oh, yeah, it was the video game theme basically having nothing. Was like...
Yeah, the video game theme had, like, nothing actually going. Because we came... I know you never attended, but
right.
Isaac and I came from Condition. And Condition always had something that made you feel like you were a part of the overarching theme. Because they had the story aspect to it. Yeah. They had the overarching story. So, like, the first year that we went... No, it wasn't the first year. Like, the second year, they had, do you want to rat out the Cajun because there was, the first one was there was the mole. Yeah, and you could rat out to Cajun who the mole was.
Okay.
So, but you had to follow, like, all these clues and find out staff members who would give you a clue to the next one, and you had to, like, kind of decipher and figure things out. And
it's
it was
a sense
like,
of involvement.
Yeah.
The bigger difference with Condition, though, too, is that it wasn't exclusive to, hey, you paid the extra.
Yeah, it was for everybody.
Like, and if this thing with Fernal had been for everybody and you just had a massive advantage having the decoder ring or something, then that would be something. But it was exclusive to the decoder ring people, which they had to pay for, and they only got to hear about it if they were in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, I'd be a little ticked off.
Yeah.
If I paid, because super sponsors like 160?
140, I think.
No, I think it was like 160.
Anyway.
At any rate, yeah, because...
Especially because you could pay for super sponsor at the door, from what I understood, too.
Oh, could you?
I think so.
Oh.
I think you could purchase it at the door, which means you get the stuff and be allowed to be part of this thing that you have already effectively missed.
Shitty. But yeah, the other thing with super sponsor this year compared to last year is last year we got the super sponsor and they had the lounge, which
we got regular sponsor last year. We didn't get super because we didn't get those LED
yeah. We didn't get super sponsor. We got regular sponsor, and there was the lounge. This year, the lounge was absent. There was no lounge.
It was replaced by the video game,
which
was larger and had the pop thing.
Yeah, but here's the difference for me. And you got a free buffet at the hotel restaurant. But here's the thing: last year with the super sponsor, we went in and there was like food all the time. They had like they had hot dogs and chicken fingers and stuff, so you never had to actually leave to eat. You had like all your snacks, all your food, all your pop paid for essentially with your ticket. For that to disappear, and they say unlimited drinks, but they gave you those little cards where you could only get as many drinks as the cards had. That's not unlimited to me, first of all. The second thing is the buffet. As far as I heard, you only got one coupon for the buffet, and that's only like $15. So if you really wanted to go for the buffet, just go for the buffet.
Yeah.
It's not that big of a deal. So it's kind of like, well, what happened to what you had last year, which was so much better?
It was also probably, from the sounds of things, really expensive to maintain. And they probably lost money on it. That's probably why they didn't have it this year.
The business aspect of it doesn't really matter, and I understand where V's coming from this one.
Yeah, that was one of the reasons why I dropped down to just regular attendee, because it's like, regular attendee is $40, sponsor is like 100 and something.
Yeah.
If I'm not gonna get like what I believe to get my money's like, I understand supporting a con and all, but you got to get something out of it.
With how little time I actually spent on the con floor, I'm kind of glad I didn't pay more.
Yeah.
But that's just good. But again, I was there to do BrantFurred stuff. That was why I attended it all, was because you had scheduled guests and I needed to make sure I could run all the equipment.
Yeah. But you had fun at the end of the day.
Yeah, I'm not saying I didn't have fun, but again, the fun that I had came from the guests we had on.
Yes, yes. And it was nice to hang out with Blade and Echo, who had never been to a con before.
Yeah.
So again, it was kind of one of those things where it's like you have that fresh excitement and ooh, ah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got that from our friend Dr. Rage Quit.
Oh yes.
That
was her first too?
It was her first con.
Oh yeah.
Have we finished her biggest fan ever badge?
I haven't even started it.
Should get on that.
#1 fan.
Because as it turns out, she has been with our show since we had 2 podcasts and still had 4 members.
Yes. So,
Nice.
yeah, I have to do up a...
So as far as we know, she's our oldest fan and actually watches all of our stuff.
Shout out to Dr. Rage Quit.
Good for you! Woohoo! But anyway, it's one of those things because I've done so many conventions, not just fur cons, but conventions in general, that I'm kind of like, I know what to expect. It's old hat, but seeing someone walk into that and have their eyes go...
Wow.
Because, wow, look at all these people. Wow, look at all these people who are into the same things that I am.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's just because, especially because Echo lives in a place where there isn't a lot of furries.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where, like, even before I started making, like, before I met you and, you know, Phoenix and Kane and those people,
Yeah.
I felt like I was the only furry in BrantFurred. Because, you know, it's one of those things where if you don't live in a big enough area where you can run into somebody, especially if you're out and you're wearing some sort of furry paraphernalia or whatever, it feels a little isolating because it's like, oh, everyone's in Toronto, everyone's in London, everyone's in Hamilton, like the big centers. And it's like, and there's nobody around me.
Yeah.
So to walk into something like that and just see all these people who are into the same thing and are scattered all over the place, because, like, we had people from the States, we had people from BC, we had people from Quebec.
You know what we should do? We should make stickers with furries on them and just say, you're not alone. Just stick them all over the city.
No. What we need to do is just like the I'll Go With You campaign, where there's little transgender buttons for going to the bathroom with transgender people.
Yeah.
Just make little buttons that they're like, it's got to be subtle, like Fur Life or something.
Like the five paw? That's apparently like the unofficial official furry symbol.
The 5-paw?
A five paw.
5-paw?
And it's like PHI paw.
Why PHI?
That's just what the character's called. It's like that little, like, it's like a paw print. It's kind of like a P.
Oh, yeah.
You've seen it, I'm sure.
Yeah, on Paws Up Radio.
Yeah, it's called the Phi Paw.
Okay.
And it's the official, unofficial symbol for the fandom.
Cool.
Anyway, though, back on track. Wherever we were.
To
Well,
Fernal stuff.
we were kind of complaining about Fernal stuff. I'd like to...
Well, they have no scritchin' bitch, so...
Scritchin' bitch?
Yeah, at the end of the condition, at like the very end of the con, there was a quote-unquote panel called the Scritchin' Bitch.
Where you
went into a room and like they had members of the staff there and you told them, this is what you did well, I really like this stuff, and not so much.
Yeah, that's actually a really good idea.
Yeah, and there was another term for it, I think, that Cabu was telling me. He's like, oh, is there a whatever, it was scritchin' something, but essentially it's this scritchin' hiss.
Scritchin' hiss?
Is there a scritchin' hiss? And I'm like, no, I don't think so. We call it a scritchin' bitch, but...
Nice.
Actually, one thing that very much surprised me, just in terms of like things that could have been done better or whatnot, or just things that didn't really add up for me, was the charity auction. Because from the numbers of people who attended, there were about 300 people higher, but compared to last year's auction, they made $4,000 less dollars.
Actually, that reminds me, I won something at the charity auction.
Did you ever get it?
No,
Oh shit!
I got an email saying that I won because I figured I was the first one to sign up for it. It's like, whatever, I'll just do the base value. Someone will probably outbid me.
Like the art show.
Yeah.
Okay.
And no, apparently I was the only one who did bid on it, and I got an email saying that, yeah, I mean, you won. When can we get our money? And it's just like, oh, shit, yeah, give me your PayPal information, I'll send it that way. But, like, you know, I didn't even bother going to check to see if I won.
Yeah.
Because I figured other people would be bidding on this stuff.
That's funny.
But apparently not. And
yeah, we're having our own little scritch and bitch here.
Yeah.
You were correct. Actually, I think it was Dex was with me, and they announced the total of the charity, like 5,000, blah blah blah, and you just hear him in the back being like, "That's sad."
Well, I mean, it's a lot for a charity. So
yeah, I'm sure the charity was super stoked to accept that money. It probably helps a lot.
The other bit that was,
but that's like what, $5 a person?
Well, the other thing, too, is the fact that at the beginning of the opening ceremonies, Scanny was like...
We were hoping to get...
Yeah, let's make $10,000. Like, let's get even more than last year, and then it fell so short.
So short. Almost half.
Yeah, disappointingly.
Like, holy crap.
But you know what? It's not just the charity auction that was complaining about the poor sales. I was in Artist Alley, actually, most of the weekend, and the people around me were talking about how... They're just not selling what they normally do. It's like everyone had a grip on their purse strings this year.
The one thing that I could kind of get is that having a furry superhero theme the same weekend that Comic-Con is going on just seems like a really poor business decision.
Well, they probably didn't even know. They probably just had their things... And then didn't realize that the Comic-Con was going to be that same weekend.
Possibly not. I mean...
Yeah, Comic-Con doesn't usually announce their weekend until, like, 6 months before, and they knew what weekend they were having a year in advance.
Yeah. I mean, I understand it. It's just, I can imagine that probably had a significant effect, because the majority of people... I'm sorry, I got the stupid Concrete cold coming up, so I probably sound like shit, but... Oh, fuck.
I probably sound like shit. Oh, man.
But, with it, you're going to the con, and a lot of artists, especially are going to be pitching towards that theme. Like, you choose superhero badges. You did your pre-pose and whatnot. So, they're all pitching superhero stuff, and effectively, right up the road is more superhero stuff that you can shake a leg at. So, anyone selling merchandise was totally screwed.
Not really. I mean...
The thing is a lot of it.
We were selling mainly to furries, not superheroes.
Understandable.
And
the thing is comparatively, people aren't selling comics and shit at a fur con, even if it is superhero themed. It's still going to be the same art.
I think there was one guy selling comics.
Okay.
I mean that's one.
Like that's like not the main thing though. Is if you are doing superhero stuff, usually it's themed art.
Yeah.
Or something along those lines.
The bit is though generally at least from last year's Fernal. And I don't know about the year before because you guys went on your own for like a day or two. But there was always one person in the dealer's den who was selling something specific to the theme. Like when last year's theme was gaming, there was a guy who was selling just retro games at his stand. That was all he was selling that.
Oh man, I wish I had gone now.
Yeah. I saw a few things I wanted. I wanted a copy of Hockey for the NES, and I was like, oh man, sweet. But I cannot.
Anyway.
I could not justify purchasing it.
At any rate, well, I didn't spend a whole lot of time in the dealer's den. I didn't really buy very much. It was only at the very end that we got even choose badges. That was like literally the last minute.
Yeah. I always do the same thing at a con when it comes to the dealer's den. I walk through it once just to look at what everyone has. Then, like on the second day, I'll very quickly walk through again, buy up a print or two from like some of the best artists there. This year I got one from Sandy Schreiber. And then I'll buy like little things just to help some of the ones that look like they're just starting out.
Yeah.
And yeah, I spent like probably $80 in total.
Yeah.
On everything, but I mean, I got some nice stuff.
Yeah, I liked personally, and this is just me. I like to have at least one badge from each con. It doesn't always work out that way, but I like to do that with one badge from that I commission at the con.
Nice.
But again, like, I think I did Evichu, and then I looked at my thing, that guy sitting next to you on Artist Alley, and I was like, I like your stuff, why not? It's $15 for a headshot, I'll take it.
I liked their stuff because it was small. Yeah. That's the one thing with me, with badges lately. They're huge. And I mean, I totally understand that it is a lot easier to get a lot more detail on a larger thing. But especially people doing digital art, why did you print it on like a full sheet of paper and give it to me?
Yeah.
Like, I want... my expectation for a badge would be like maybe the size of a business card or a little bit bigger than
Business?
Business cards are tiny,
That's pretty damn
Like-
small.
They're 2 by 3.5.
like that'd be like 2 of these.
Yeah. But I mean, especially because if I'm going to have a lot of badges on them, they're very cumbersome to have a huge badge. They're much easier to get damaged.
I can understand where you're coming from, yeah.
The thing is small badges compared to large badges, a large badge is going to be easily noticed.
Yes.
People are going to be looking at the crowd and they're going to see it and then be like, wow. Small badges, you have to get up closer. And I remember there was one badge one thing I had, one person was kind of like crouched over, kind of looking at me, and they're like, I'm really sorry, I'm not staring at your boobs, I'm just trying to look at your badges. So, it's one of those things where it's a trade-off. I try to make my badges no bigger than, like, a photograph.
Yeah.
That's probably about as big as I try to go with mine, is like a regular size...
Like a 4x6.
4x6 photograph. That is about as big as I want a badge to be, and that's on, like, the larger side.
Yeah.
Like, I think the ones that I gave out for the special guest this year were probably, like, I don't know.
2x3?
Maybe, like, more like 3x3. They're, like, almost square.
That's true.
I would have die cut them, but that's just me.
Die cut?
How?
Die cut?
How are we die cutting?
Die cutting is cutting around the shape instead of doing them square.
Not always. Die cutting is when you have a thing that goes shunk. That's die cutting.
Oh, yeah, it's where it's...
so that you get straight edges.
I know what Isaac means. It's not actual die cutting. Yeah. It's just cutting around the shape.
Yeah.
But if you're like purchasing, like when we were going to purchase stickers last year, to die cut them was to cut them around.
Yeah.
And actually have them the shape.
That would be a machine cutting them around.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is to die cut.
Anyway.
I have no problem.
The guy with scissors.
I have no problem with square badges. Like, I have some that are form like to the form. I have some that are square. It doesn't really matter one way or the other.
Yeah.
It's just the thing with, again, it's one of those trade-off things. When you have it around the edges, if you have any bits that hang off the edge too much, they're much more likely to get damaged or folded or crinkled than a square is.
I guess. I don't know.
What the fuck noise was that?
I think it was your oven.
I hope it wasn't my oven.
Didn't sound like that. It sounded like a dog in the hallway. Anyway. Moving on, we've talked about Furno for about 22 minutes. What else happened this month?
Well, Zootopia came out.
Zootopia did come out.
I want to talk about next year's Furno because they gave us the details.
Very quickly, go.
Very quickly. New hotel. Holy crap. Yes. I wonder what the cost is actually, how that's going to affect the cost of the con.
Yeah,
we'll have to wait and see about
because that is a big jump.
Yeah. That's kind of my two things. I have like two concerns with the new hotel and location. One of them is cost, as Riffti said, is that downtown Toronto is going to be a lot more expensive for hotels and the like. The other bit that I have a concern with, and I get kind of mixed feelings about it when I bring it up, is it's a lot more dense population for Toronto and downtown. I'm concerned that there will be some discrimination against furries in the downtown area. And some people I say are like, some people I hear it's going to be like, people in Toronto are used to seeing weird stuff. But on the other end, that's fine if we were still seeing the same number of people that are at the current con. The likelihood of someone being, or who is going to cause trouble, is greater when you have a larger number of people.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Like, just statistically. And I'm concerned, because, I mean, even where we were at the Marriott, which was the one we were at, right?
We were at the Marriott,
Yeah, walking between the Marriott and the Sheraton, we had people honking their horns and, calling fur fag all over the place. Like, it happened at least 3 times.
Honking the horn doesn't really mean anything. That could be a positive.
Now, Echo and I were actually, it was like, we couldn't sleep the first night, so we walked to the Tim Hortons, and we're like going over the bridge, and we're like by the International Plaza, and we had a guy, I was in a bear onesie, and he was just in his regular clothes, and we had someone like yell at us from the thing being like, fuck her right in the pussy! And he's like, Echo's like, what the hell? That hasn't been relevant for like a year and a half. So it just goes to show you, like, people honk at whatever.
Yeah. I don't know. But that's the thing I mean. Is that I'm concerned that there's going to be a lot more of that harassment style thing going on.
Well, the thing is look at Anthrocon. it's like right in the middle of Pittsburgh, and people love it when the furries come to town.
Especially the businesses.
Actually, the mayor of Pittsburgh actually like did an official Anthrocon day for like in the city.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they did Anthrocon day when Anthrocon opened. I think it was last year, because people love it so much.
But how old is Anthrocon at this point in terms of being in Pittsburgh and in that area?
20 years? I don't know. Probably not.
Like a while, but the thing is you got to start somewhere.
I don't disagree.
The other thing is the area where it was previous / currently, like where we're leaving the Sheridan, my dad pointed out it's very much business because it's right by the airport. So all you're getting is business people. You're not getting any of the kooky, downtown Toronto type people. You're getting business people who are flying in and out for work.
And sports people who are total assholes.
And sports people are total assholes. But the thing is you're not getting any of like the actual people who
curious
like
ones?
Yeah, curious people who live in the city and actually would be interested in what's going on over there. You're getting people who are, I'm coming in from one flight, I'm staying at this hotel to sleep, I'm going out for another flight.
Thing is, that can be seen as a plus, especially with a subculture like furries. Like, you don't really want a bunch of curious onlookers who might cause shit.
Yes.
You kind of want the people who aren't at the con to just ignore it.
Yes and no. I mean, the problem is the only con that I actually know had a problem was that one year at Condition, where I think it was like a baseball team or whatever, cornered one of the fursuiters and was harassing her.
Yeah.
And Conditions area, I think they were like across the street from a mall, not in like the downtown area of London, but like a little off to the side. And that was the only con I've ever really heard of, at least Canadian cons, where there was a problem with someone harassing a con goer / fursuiter.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
So I'm interested to see how it goes. My main concern is how it's going to affect the pricing of the con, because how it affects the pricing is going to affect how many people can actually attend.
Just remember, people need to look for us there, not under BrantFurred, but under our new alias, Slowly Asphyxiating Crow.
Yes.
Foxin's just like, oh my god.
We're going to be an amazing metal band.
Riffti on the triangle. Ding ding.
I've decided I will play the kazoo.
Can you play the kazoo?
Talk to Buzzy. He was handing them out. Like, he hands out kazoos like every year.
Anyway, now moving on. We've been here for 27 minutes now.
Okay.
I gave you 5 more minutes. We would be cutting off a normal podcast here, but we're going extra long because Fernal happened.
Because Fernal happened. It's the biggest event of the year for us.
I don't know, Zootopia was a pretty big event for the year.
That was a movie.
Movies are events.
Movies are movies.
Movie releases are events.
Yeah, but they last like 2 hours, not 3 days.
No, tell that to the person who was camping out the theater.
What?
Yeah, never mind. I clearly can't make jokes around you two. Maybe I'm just too sick.
People weren't camping out for Zootopia.
Well, not here.
I'm gonna say, we went to, like, the opening show. It was good. Like, don't get me wrong.
The cat's fucking with the power cord.
I also think the cat's fucking with the power cord.
You're awesome.
Stop it, cat. Stop
right.
fucking with the power cord.
Anyway, good movie.
Yes, it was a good
movie. I went in fursuit.
Did you?
I did, actually.
I mean, the only thing that I would give the movie is, or like, take away from it.
Yeah.
And no, if you find me revealing the general premise of the movie to be spoilers, then skip ahead like a minute or two. But
Oh, you might want to skip ahead more than that.
it is a buddy cop movie.
Yeah.
It follows the exact trope of a buddy cop movie. If you've seen any, good cop, bad cop.
Oh, that's you. I thought that was the cat.
Cop working with criminal, any sort of those like duo cop movies, you can follow the plot with like a checklist, and it all happens. And I'm not complaining at tradition or style or things like that, but it's a little bit disappointing for me.
That was a disappointment for you?
Just that it was a standard buddy cop movie. It followed the tropes exactly. Even at the point where I was gonna lean over to me and and now this will happen, and it did.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I can do that with a lot of movies actually.
Oh, yeah.
Like I can
It's not.
I can see things coming, but like that doesn't make it a bad movie.
I'm not, like I said, that was the only thing I'd take away from it. Other than that, it was beautiful. The comedy was great. There was like one joke that kind of like missed me. And it wasn't like it was too much. It was just, it was a little too lowbrow for even me.
What joke was that?
Spoilers. There's like a brief moment where like a sheep gets his belly sheared by like a passing train. And he like makes a huge deal of it. It's like that standard, like, oh man, something went by so fast, my clothes are gone. You know, freak out kind of thing. Like, and I was like, yeah, only joke in the movie that missed for me.
One of those blink and you miss it because I don't even remember that.
Yeah, it happens so quickly, and it's just it was too lowbrow for me.
Well,
like,
too cartoony.
I guess.
Because
Yeah.
I guess that would be, it's too cartoony because the actual movie, even though you could consider it a cartoon, it doesn't come off that way. It comes off as like being a fairly like it's not like for kids.
Yeah.
Kind of tone to it, but it's just you get that one moment. It's like, oh, that's really cartoony, and it kind of throws you out because they've been building it up to be such a realistic, like society and how things would work, and it's just like, oh, that's cartoony.
Yeah, especially considering the fact that if it was just a buddy cop movie with all the characters being furries, that's fine by me. Like, I would rather, again, I take it away just because it followed the tropes exactly, but I give it to the fact that it wasn't a movie that specified that they were furry. The same movie could have been made with them not being animals, and it would have been exactly the same, which I rather enjoyed that of it. Well, actually, no, I can't say that, can it? Because a lot of the environment would be very different if it wasn't. But they took a lot of time to put the environment together and the idea that there are so many mammals and, the different environments that it would be. The fact that, they make a couple of jokes like, oh, hey, the giraffes are really tall, so give them like a fucking male shoot to give them their smoothie in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there's a lot of little stuff like that makes it very nice. But if you had the same movie just with people, it would still make a good plot.
Yeah, except instead of speciesism, it would be racism.
Yay!
Because that Zootopia is fucking rampant with speciesism.
Yeah.
Oh yes, very much so.
That and one thing I really just didn't understand, if everyone in Zootopia is like dog size or above, they got like no one running Little Rodentia.
Little Rodentia was adorable.
Little Rodentia, that actually makes sense as to why the mob boss is a fucking shrew.
Spoilers.
Do you see it in the fucking
that's in the
trailer?
Okay. Do you? Okay.
Yeah.
There's something's in the trailer. I'm not gonna say it's a spoiler.
Okay.
But
I forgot that was in the trailer.
Yeah.
I actually haven't seen the trailer in a long while.
Mr. Biggs.
Mr. Big.
Mr. Big. But yeah, just a bunch of little things that are like, like, and especially stuff like Tommy, what's his name, Chong.
Tommy Chong
playing
yaks.
Yeah, the stoner yak and stuff like that.
Well, he's not a stoner. He's
pretty close.
He's
to
a naturalist.
Sure, whatever. All natural, baby.
Yeah.
Anyway,
well, that's the adult side that the kids wouldn't get.
Yes.
Same with the Breaking Bad joke.
Yes.
Same with the bunnies are good at multiplication joke.
Yes.
Yeah.
At any rate,
it was a good movie. It's worth going to see.
But one thing I have to say about it is I saw this posting in my Facebook groups was there was a group from, I think it was like the Netherlands or somewhere like that, where it posted a whole bunch of people dressed up in fursuit at the theater with the poster and stuff like that. And someone had to be like, guys, if you're in the States, because this is from the Netherlands or whatever, but if you're in the States, please, for the love of God, call ahead if you plan on going in fursuit. I don't want to see any of you getting arrested for going to see the movie in your costumes.
Yeah.
And that makes sense because they had the issue with like the shoot up at the Batman movie.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
Dark Knight Rises.
And the thing is like I went in my fursuit. I actually didn't call ahead. They didn't have any problem with me in the lobby. They said I had to take the head off in the actual theater. No problem. I was going to do that anyway because I don't want the ears blocking the people behind me.
And, you know, I'd
Smart.
like to see the movie.
And I'd like to actually see the movie I'm paying to view. But afterwards,
Only available in 3D.
Afterwards, we had some time to kill, so we just went to Walmart to check out. You think you want to look at amiibos or whatever?
Yeah.
And I had the manager be like, "Yeah, you have to get out like right now. Like take off your head and get out." And I'm like, "Okay, sure." We were just heading out, and he's like, "Yeah, but you have to take off your head like right now and go." I was like, "All right, whatever." Because personally, for me, when I suit, I hate breaking the magic. If I have to, like, I only take the head off in public if I absolutely have to.
This is 3 times today I've heard this rant. Go on.
Yes, but it's the first time for them.
Yeah, so, because that's just me. Because especially if you're in a group of people, it's a costume thing. You don't want to... Imagine if, like, someone in Disney World just popped their head off because...
Oh man, it's sweaty.
Yeah. Little kids would be, like, traumatized.
And that guy would be fired.
But it's stuff like that where it's like, as a costumer, because I did the cosplay and everything like that, as a costumer, breaking the magic's one of the worst things you can do, and I hate it when people do it. So it hurt me to, even though it was like 10 o'clock at night at a Walmart, I hated having to take off the head, even though we were already on our way out, just because. And I'm like, whatever.
Walmart was a dick.
Walmart was a dick. The theater was cool about it. The parents at the theater were actually probably more excited about me being in costume than the kids were.
Yeah.
There was like, I gave a bunch of high fives, I gave some hugs.
That's
and all the moms were like, oh, look. So.
Yeah. I'm always mixed when it comes to parents and fursuiters.
And that's the other thing too, is like, you, as you've said, you're like, you hate children. I'm like, yeah, but not when I'm suiting.
It's not so much that, is that my bit when it comes down to it, I understand a lot of fursuiters are very fine with, you know, dealing with kids and whatnot, and they're very excited when someone's interested, but there's a lot, like, there was a lot of the parents that were there who were basically telling their kids to go and approach you without asking your permission if that was what you wanted. And that kind of upsets me a little bit, because there are a lot of fursuiters I've heard of that actually do not like the engagement. They'd prefer to be on their own, and they just feel more comfortable being in their fursuit. And that's not something you do to someone, is send your kids towards them because your kid is interested. You ask that person if it's okay first.
Yeah, well, the unfortunate thing is that, I mean, fursuiters in general are kind of like a new concept to anyone who's not a furry.
Yeah.
So they go off what they know, and what they know is
Mascot suits.
Is mascot suits, and the whole point of a mascot is to engage with the people. So people have like, so people as a society have grown up learning that mascots are approachable and it's okay.
Even stuff like the Easter Bunny at the mall and stuff like that, where that's the whole point is, up, Timmy, go up and get a treat, or go up and get a photo, or what have you.
Exactly.
But the same situation is someone in like a Deadpool costume just going around, and presumably I'm going to pretend that a kid went and saw Deadpool because it happened more than once enough that it became a big complaint.
Yeah.
But if it's someone in like a superhero costume and then just going around and hanging out, it's not something you would do to them, because it is someone in a mask. It is someone who could potentially be dangerous. But once it's a fursuiter, everything is fine.
Because you're an animal.
Yeah.
Because you're big and fluffy.
Like, you would
Because you are a mascot.
Yeah.
Like, we just had that even today where, well, not with kids, but because it was like 9 o'clock at Pizza Hut. But we went in, and everyone wanted to give me hugs and stuff because we went to go deliver waffles to a
terrific server named Bonnie.
Yes.
Except the bit was that you were the one who initiated. You offered them first. They did not jump at you.
That's true.
That's true.
People aren't going to know that, and it's going to take a while for that message to get out to people that, ask first, unless you wear a sign that says, ask for hugs.
But that
or those badges where it's like, hugs, yes, hugs, no, hugs,
I made one of those.
Ask.
I made one of those.
Oh, nice.
The bit is, though, is that you wouldn't do it to somebody who wasn't in a costume. It's the minute that you put on the costume, the world seems to have an expectation of you that you're perfectly fine with anything. It's the same kind of thing that... I'm sorry to bring it up, that we get stereotyped in being furries that we are into things like, wild sex and yiffing all the time and all that. It's just a stereotype that's attached to us based on stigma that society has placed.
Yeah.
We're in a fursuit, so we must love to hang out with people and put on that big show.
The funny thing is, this just popped in my head, and I'm sorry to say that, is if you get somebody who's like, knows the both stereotypes where it's like, oh, it's okay to go hug them, or yeah, they have wild sex in their suits, that's kind of a bad cross. Go hug their sex toy.
I don't know. It could be worse. They could
Yeah,
approach
really.
it.
That's like finding a fleshlight and practicing kissing with it. Like,
I don't know. It could always be worse. You could be approached to be like, "Hey, are you the kip that does cum inflation?"
oh god, can I have a hug?
The kip.
Are you the kip?
Oh my god, are you the one who does? What was it?
Cum inflation and hyperpenetration.
Oh my god, you're that hyperpenetration guy. Can I have a hug? It's just like, that is not how you want to introduce yourself.
Oh sure. Oh, you're poking me.
It's like, oh, okay, I can feel that on my hip.
I'm sorry. I'm not into hyperpenetration. Oh fuck.
Nothing hyper about that.
We've gotten into a dark place.
A high-pitched dark place.
A dark place.
Dark place. But yeah. But personally, I don't mind it if kids, as long as they're not doing something stupid like pulling on my tail.
Yeah.
Or like trying to rip my head off or something like that.
Yeah.
As long as they're being respectful of the suit, then I really don't care.
Yeah.
It's when you get the little shits that are like pulling at your tail or whatever.
The little shits.
No.
Wow.
No, some kids are just little shits.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, but...
And again, it's true. As you have stated, I'm not fond of children. We'll put it that way.
Yeah.
I am not fond of children. However, being an entertainer and a performer, as soon as you get in that suit, you want to interact with people.
Yeah, you just want
to go out and interact and be the center of attention. I know that's really bad to say.
Like, I don't know. Just being in a fursuit, I could give Charles Manson a hug.
Well, the other bit is it's a matter of pride. That's the reason.
Yeah.
You are prideful that, in your case, you made Riffti.
Yes.
Other people, is that the fact that this is an expression of self that they have purchased or that they have put their time into creating this character and they get to be it. There's a certain level of pride for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So it's not a bad thing to want the attention because you're very proud of the character and you want to show it off. Mm-hmm. So there's nothing wrong with it.
I think for some people, they don't like to hug children because children, they're usually sticky for one reason or another. It's just like, oh yeah, you can have a hug. Oh yes, that's a clump of my fur in your hands. Great.
Why is your kid sticky?
Kids are always sticky.
Why is your kid sticky? He's 8.
Ew.
Alright, so
What? No, 8-year-olds always they're always getting into shit, so they're always sticky.
They're getting into shit. Why are your hands brown, Bradley?
Not literal shit. Although it wouldn't surprise me. They're 8.
I have a story to tell that I will not tell on this.
Then there's no point bringing it up.
I will tell you after.
He just doesn't want us to forget. He doesn't want to forget, and he wants us to remind him.
Yes, remind me about kids playing with shit, and I will tell you a story.
I do not want to know this story. I just don't. I don't want it.
I'm curious. After we had the story about the woman with the poo in her purse.
Oh yeah.
I am interested in any sort of poop story. Not any poop story, but funny ones.
See, I don't want to tell a poop story about me live on the internet. I have a level of self-respect I'd like to keep.
You do?
It's very true. There is that really suggestive image of Isaac.
Oh, good God. The one you used as your badge that first year?
No, that is a story in and of itself. No, I mean the topless, like...
Oh!
The topless one.
Oh, I see.
Where he's like all like suggestive and shit.
He's all like femboyish.
Oh, speaking of art of Isaac, I actually went and found all the old Isaac art. Like, shit that was done before I was part of the fandom.
Yeah.
And I was looking through all the phases that Isaac went through, and I'm like, damn, I was shit. Like, I was...
You're just trash. You're furry trash.
I was furry trash. I was emo trash. There was so much trash.
You're just fucking trash.
But, like, it goes back, like 2 or 3 lovers, but Isaac remains kind of the same.
Say 2 or 3 lovers?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not kidding.
At a time?
See, I would love to say yes and be really cocky about it, but no, unfortunately, it was...
Unfortunately?
1 to 2 at a time.
What?
What?
You had 2 lovers at the same time?
Yes. Once?
Well, one was on the internet, and it was, you know, a standard internet relationship.
But that was a week ago, so it's over now.
Ouch.
And I ended up running into, like, an old childhood friend, and we started, you know, talking a lot, and it was kind of turning into dating, but I had not broken anything off with the internet relationship, so I was technically dating 2 women.
Did you let him down easy?
Yeah, pretty much. I ended up getting assaulted, and then one of them left me, and I was like, oh, well, this sucks.
And then the other one left you?
Yeah, and the other one did, and I was very sad.
Because I really hoped that you were single when we met.
I was single when you met.
Okay.
Anyway, though.
Yeah.
Moving on.
So what else happened this month? We've talked about Zootopia. We talked about Fernal. I don't know why I have 3 fingers up, but we also talked about Pizza Hut, so there's 3.
Pokken Tournament was good.
Ah, yes.
I mean, we played that with Wellness, and that episode is up, and it was a fun... I had to unlock everything in 24 hours, but it was a fun game. It's still a fun game.
You didn't have to, but you did.
Well, I wanted...
That was like his big achievement from the con. Be like, I beat Pokken in 24 hours at the con instead of socializing.
Wasn't even at the con. I was at the hotel disassociated from the con.
Well, look, I didn't want to go in with no stages.
Myself from the con.
I didn't want to go in with no stages and no support guys. I wanted to actually have stage options, and the fact that only 3 started unlocked and they all suck. Anyway, it's a good game.
Yeah, actually, it's a lot of fun. It's basically how Pokemon battles
are on the show.
Yeah, played out in my mind as well, where you can actually dodge attacks by running around them.
Yeah, and then I eventually catch you with a Fire Blast.
Hey, spoilers! People haven't seen it yet.
Oh no, I'm the champion. I'm the league champion according to our episode. Because you have to fight everyone else to get to me. I played 1 match.
Yeah.
And it was good.
It was a good match. That one went down to the wire.
Everything went down. There were a few that went down to the wire. Watch the episode if you have not already, because there's a pretty good fight.
The only unfortunate thing is that Pokken Tournament, for me, this is the unfortunate thing, it comes out kind of at the end cycle of the Wii U.
Yeah.
Which was a short-lived system, as it was, first of all. They've basically already said, yeah, we're giving this game, no support.
Yeah, we will support it online, but no DLC, because they're working on the NX instead.
No, it only had, 14, 15 characters?
It had 16, including, but 2 of them are Mewtwo and 2 of them are Pikachu.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
So 14 with 2 variations.
Yeah, you have 600 and whatever Pokemon at your disposal, but then you go with 14.
You have the support options, though, and there's, a good additional, I want to say...
15 times 2?
Something like that.
So 30.
Yeah.
There's another 30 there.
But still,
but as far as actual playable characters go, there's only 16 that you get to choose from. So, I mean, from my standpoint, there could have been a little bit more selection there.
Especially for a game that, with taxes, comes out to $85.
Yeah, really.
That is holy shit. You get Smash Bros. Where you have 50 some odd characters. I know it's a party game, this is a fighting game. Let's not make that distinction right now. But you get Smash Bros. Which has 50 plus characters for the same price, and this one has 16.
Yeah. Well, look at another fighting game, Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat
comes out, and it's got 30 characters, and you can download more.
Marvel vs. Capcom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although that's more of a Capcom style fighting
I have to say, I do have one thing to say though for it. This is technically the first release for Pokken Tournament, and in most fighting games' first releases, they have about 10 characters to choose from.
Yeah, no, actually, I do have to give you that, because Mortal Kombat itself only had 7.
Yeah, and we're on like 10 Mortal Kombats
but that's the thing though, is yes, it's the first release of a game, but most fighting game franchises came out like on the freaking NES or the SNES.
Not only that,
where there was a lot less space to work with.
Yeah.
With the limitations of the memory of the system and the cartridges.
Not only discs, but a lot of these fighting games that did come out didn't have a rich history to draw from.
Yeah,
true.
Like Mortal Kombat came out, and it was like basically it was Midway's like we're just gonna throw this out there. It has no storyline to base off of, whereas Pokemon has 15 fucking years of backstory.
20.
Yeah.
20 years.
20. This is the 20th
I'm that
year.
old.
This is the 20th year of Pokemon. So
so 20 years of backstory to draw off of, and
over 600 characters.
And over 600 characters to choose from. Okay, if you take out evolutions, there's probably only like 250.
Actually, without evolutions, I've done the math before. Actually, it's in the 500 still.
Really?
Yeah, it's pretty high up there.
I would think it'd be a lot less.
It's 400 to 500. I know that much.
Because
there are a lot of single evolution guys, legendaries, and 2 evolution guys.
Yeah.
The 3 evolution guys are massively outweighed. Outweighed by 2 stage guys.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of two stage guys, but even that, then it's like that's dropping the list by half.
Anyway.
But yeah. I would have liked to see more playable characters.
At least on more unlockables than 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Because the only Pokemon that you actually unlock are Mewtwo and Shadow Mewtwo, and they give you a card with the game that unlocks Shadow Mewtwo basically from the start until you finish the game.
Actually, when you use the card, you can't use support Pokemon with Shadow Mewtwo.
Where?
Oh, so it's like Shadow Mewtwo demo.
Yeah, pretty much.
Big
you
deal.
still only unlock 2 people.
I hardly ever use the supports anyway.
Even the original Smash Brothers, you unlocked at least 4.
You unlocked 4.
Yeah.
The
original.
And that was on the Nintendo 64.
But the total roster was 12.
Yes, but again, it's one of those things where it's think of the limitations of the system and the cartridge.
Well, that's taken 2 ways, because you're looking at something that used sprites and having to pre-render everything compared to something that's actually functioning in full HD. So you have the memory that's going to be taking up textures, movements for things like Suicune, where he consistently moves. Chandelure's flame effects, including Braixen's. There's a lot of very high detail stuff that's going to be taking up a lot of information.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but again, it's one of those things where it seems a little out of place. Personally, my opinion.
And the other bit, and this would be another reason for a short roster, is that the dual phase thing is not something that I've seen in a different fighting game. It's a lot more than a lot of the 2D fighters out there.
Yeah, I guess.
It's a bigger game with a new system, so I understand a small roster in terms of A, testing that kind of stuff to see what's viable, and B, that basically they built the system from scratch. It doesn't play off of the Tekken system, because the Tekken system is a 2D fighter similar to the dual phase. Yeah. They have a whole secondary phase, so every character effectively has 2 whole movesets. So every one character is the space of 2.
Ish.
Ish,
1.5.
Not only that, where the fuck did Pikachu Libre come from? Is that a reference to something that I just don't get? Or is that actually exclusive to this game?
Cosplay Pikachu is in Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire contests. Pikachu Libre is one of the costumes.
Oh, is it?
For cosplay Pikachu.
Okay. Yeah, it's the...
it gets flying press.
Is it the cool or the tough one?
Tough.
Oh yeah, the cool one is the one with the
cool one is the Rockstar.
Ah, that's right.
I got the cool one.
You always get the cool one to start off, and you can go and swap it at any time.
Yeah. So, yeah, Pikachu Libre. The one thing I actually did like about Pikachu Libre is that it's very much a female Pikachu.
Yes.
That's true, yeah.
Actually, that was something I went through. I was going through all the roster for Pokken and trying to determine what gender the Pokemon are, because a lot of them are actually ones that have gender differences between their 2 bits. Like, ones like Lucario, you can't tell, but Weavile is very much a male.
Garchomp is a male.
Garchomp is a male. Regular Pikachu is a male, whereas cosplay Pikachu is a female. And the one that surprised me the most...
Machamp?
No. Blaziken. As far as I can tell, Blaziken is female.
Which is hilarious because people are like causing a stir about his crotch.
The difference between a male Blaziken and a female Blaziken is the length of their back.
Fur dick?
No, the crest.
The back crest.
Okay.
The female's one is shorter. The male's one is almost half the length of his body. So looking at it, at least from what I could see of the character, it looks like the Blaziken is actually female.
Huh, how about that?
But there are like parents complaining about like the feathers.
Feathers?
That little feather tuft at Blaziken's crotch.
Yeah.
And being like, there's genitalia on this chicken.
But that chicken is probably a woman.
There's a cock on that cock. What?
Yeah, but it looks more like a cock.
Yeah. As in a
rooster's head.
Yeah.
You pointed out, I do kind of see it.
Yeah. If you look at that cock, it looks like it's got a cock on its cock.
Alright. We have 5 minutes. I'd talk about Hyrule Warrior Legends coming up, but unfortunately we're actually filming this before I pick it up tomorrow. So...
And nobody cares.
I care. Screw you.
1 out of 3, you've been outvoted.
Mr. turns off the damn Smash Brothers because he doesn't want to fight the amiibos even though he was outvoted.
They were level 50s. I didn't want to have my ass handed to me. I wanted to play and have fun.
I can beat them, and you can beat me sometimes.
Sometimes.
Like, the only one I can't beat is Calvin Klein because he's an asshole.
Calvin, what the fuck?
I have the Shulk one. I've got the beach shorts on, but I just call him Calvin Klein. He's an asshole. Anyway, that is about an hour. So we've had a double-length podcast because of Fernal. It was something big that happened, and, you know, we couldn't...
It's not something that happens every month. It happens once a year.
Yeah, it was deserved that we talked about it.
At length.
Yes.
And, like, it was a big month. It would have been just about Fernal if Zootopia didn't come out, too.
Yeah.
And
probably.
Pokken Tournament, and I want to say there's something we've missed here, but...
Probably is.
I can't think of it.
If we do think of it, maybe we'll do a supplemental.
I'd say, ironically, we didn't talk about Major Minor at all, but that's because we have an interview about it. So you can check out that interview, which is technically a second podcast for this month.
Yeah.
We were going to have a third one, but we have arranged with Ken Ferenc to talk to them, and it looks like we're going to talk to them next month instead of this month, just because Fernal was big for both parties on that end.
Fernal was big for both parties. They have their Pop Prints in the Rain coming up.
They got stuff coming up.
And Concred, all around.
Oh yeah, good God, we all have Concred. It's fucking terrible.
Not me. I just have cat allergies.
Woo!
Ray. So anyway, that will be it. I'm going to go continue learning Japanese and playing Stardew Valley because I'm insane.
Yes, you are. But we are.
What does that have to do with being insane?
I'm trying to learn a language that's ridiculously hard because it uses a different alphabet. And while I'm doing that, playing a farming simulator that's going to take away the rest of my life.
Oh yeah.
So you might not even hear this until next month.
Isaac didn't forget to upload because he was playing Stardew Valley. He swears.
Just one more go and then I'll get that arcade machine in my house.
I did not have sexual relations with that hooker. I know that's JFK pretending to be Bill Clinton.
Yeah. That was... Wow.
I do not know a Bill Clinton voice, so I went with the closest thing. Also, I am sick.
Okay.
Alright then. Whatever.
Alright.
That was sure a way to end the podcast.
Cool. You guys can end it then.
Alright. Well, you guys take care, and we'll take care of our sick selves.
Yeah, we're gonna put this one to bed. He surely needs it.
Fuck you. I'm learning Japanese.
Later tonight, you'll probably be turning Japanese.
I really think so.
Yeah. You got it, but do you get what that song's about?
Yes.
Do you get what that song's about? Post in the comments below.
This is going completely over my head. It's clearly something I've never seen.
You don't really need that. But anyway, have a good night, everyone.
Or day if you're listening to this in the daytime.
See you.